Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing today? Before we get started, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, please go ahead. It's still not too late for September's newsletter, and we're working on October's newsletter. So we'd really love your input on October's newsletter. If you have anything that you would like to include for October's newsletter, please email me or Trish. Okay, because we would always love to have your prepping advice or anything like that that you would think that would be valuable for our subscribers to know. Okay. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about grocery prices. And I know you guys have seen it, okay? And you're probably asking yourself about the thumbnail. That's an actual picture that was taken of a turkey in a supermarket here where I live, in a supermarket called Publix. And yes, that turkey, actually, the price was $106. So, if you're asking yourself about inflation and the cost of meats and, are you really seeing the prices, go up? Yeah, it's happening everywhere. Who in their right mind would pay $106 for a god darn turkey? Not I, said the duck. Okay? It's nuts. Anyway, so grocery prices are headed higher later this year, okay? And this is according to the U.S. largest supermarket by sales, okay? Now, the Cincinnati-based Kroger company, which had $132 billion in sales last year, says inflation is running hotter than management previously anticipated, and that expectations are now for prices to rise 2 to 3% over the second half of this year. 2 to 3%? Well, if you look at the prices on meats, I'd say that's a little bit higher than 2 to 3%. Just saying. Like, okay, just take this for instance, okay? Yesterday, me and Mom went prep shopping, okay? And my prep shopping is now, I'm focusing on stuff for Andrew from when he comes home from the Marines, okay? Because he'll be home, November 14th. So get excited because he'll be home. So I said, all right, well, now, I want to focus my prep shopping for Andrew, right? So his one big thing that he always eats every single day are protein bars. Why? Because he's a bodybuilder. So, and you guys know when he was in boot camp, what did this Marine mom do? She sent the entire platoon protein bars. I did. So, based on the price that I paid for these said protein bars, okay, they were the 18 pack of protein bars because I went to Walmart's, right? Hang on, I'll go get them so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's the Cliff Bar, right? 18 pack, right? So these are the bars that I was sending to my son when he was in boot camp, okay? I sent enough for the entire platoon. There were 61 guys in the platoon, so I sent enough for the entire platoon. I sent them enough so they could each have 2 protein bars each, okay? Well, at the time when I sent these boxes, they had regular size protein bars, 18 of them in each box, and each box was $15. Now, yesterday, when I went to go buy these same boxes, they are now snack size, $20. I think that's a hell of a lot more than 2 to 3% of a rise in price, because I sent those protein bars. Let's see. He started boot camp March. He graduated May 28th. I sent the protein bars in April. So from April until now, these went up $5 and shrunk in size from regular size protein bars. Because you know what regular size protein bars look like, right? They're like the size of a candy bar. Now they're down to snack size, which is like fun size, cookie size, and rose $5 in price. So look out for that, for shrink in size and raise in price, okay? And it's a hell of a lot more than 2 to 3%. Anyways, so Kroger is passing along higher costs to the customer where it makes sense to do so. Where it makes sense to do so, show me. And that was said by the CFO, Gary Millerchip. On the company's second quarter earnings call on Friday. Now, management at Kroger rival Albertsons. I don't have an Albertsons around here, I don't think. I don't know. Earlier this summer expressed similar concerns that inflation would pick up in the second half of the year, and that they too would pass some of those increased costs along to the consumers. Okay, well, these are what, billion-dollar companies? How about you guys eat some of this cost? Stop stuffing the billions in your pockets. Anyways, so further increases at the checkout counter would put further pressure on consumers who are already dealing with the biggest annual increase in consumer prices since August of 2008. Yeah, because that's when the crash happened. Within the consumer price index, the component for food at home has risen 6 months in a row and is up 2.6% this year. Half of the basket's price increase is due to soaring prices for beef, pork, and poultry. Beef prices have risen 14% this year, while pork prices have jumped 12.1%, and poultry prices are higher by 6.6%. Prices were up in 5 of the 6 major grocery store food groups in July, falling only for fruits and veggies. And the category saw prices dip 0.9% after rising 0.7% in June. Now, the Federal Reserve has said the price increases that have occurred in the wake of Rona are transitory, and that those pressures will subside as the supply chain disruptions. Where am I? That just jumped. Shite. I hate that. I'm reading an article and it jump. Anyway, as the supply chain disruptions are resolved. Yeah. There are a lot of supply chain disruptions. You guys have been sending me pictures in my email, of what certain parts of, your grocery stores are looking like with bare shelves and stuff like that. I get it. I'm seeing that here too. There's nothing you can do. And for me to keep reiterating, stack it to the rafters, I'm not going to keep doing that because you guys already know to do that. You know what I mean? And there's reasons for this. History is repeating itself if you haven't already noticed. And I'm going to get more into that over the weekend, okay? I really am. I'm going to get more into that. I've touched on Bosnia, okay, which happened in the 90s, but I'm going to go deeper. I really am. Because we're seeing things happen over and over and over again. And I think it's important, and it's not like this is going to be a history lesson or anything like that, but I think it's important that we remember why history is repeating itself and why things keep happening over and over and over again. I really do. I really do. So anyway, the potato administration, Lord, this, God. Anyway, says issues, the supply chain issues caused by Rona and increased demand are only part of the blame. Instead, the administration blames what they say is lack of competition in the meat processing. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so lack of competition. Okay, so what are we going to do? Are we going to be listening to Billy Boy now? With taking the Q-tip and swabbing our mouths and putting things in Petri dishes and watching it grow and having our own scientific experiment in our homegrown labs in the kitchen. Asking for a friend. Because nay, all right, I'll become vegetarian before that shite even happens here. So just 4 large conglomerates control the majority of the market for each of these 3 products, beef, pork, and poultry. And the data show that these companies have been raising prices while generating record profits during the pandemic. And that was said by the National Economic Council Director Brian Deese, D-E-E-S-E, at a press briefing on Wednesday. And the administration is taking bold action to enforce an antitrust laws. Antitrust laws. Nobody trusts you, data. So, to boost the competition in meat processing and push back on pandemic profiteering that is hurting consumers, farmers, and ranchers across the country, Deese said. Whether or not the administration's efforts will rein in price gains remains to be seen. Oh, Lord. So in the meantime, customers looking for savings at the grocery store could opt for private label brands. If you go back to prior times when you had inflation, the customer a lot of times would trade over to our brands as part of their structuring their budget. So like buying store brands instead of name brands. That's what they're saying. So we're not seeing budget changes on our brands happening at this point, but I'm sure if inflation continues, oh Lord, are you dumb? Are you dumb, Kroger CEO William McCullen? Are you dumb? Lord. Anyway, all right. Yeah. So, anyway, obviously, we're seeing this, okay? I'm seeing it. You're seeing it. This is like the topic of discussion over and over again, okay? The only thing I can say is to be smart, learn how to preserve. If you had a pressure can. If you have a dehydrator, dehydrate. Mylar bag it with oxygen absorber packs, okay? That's my best advice. That's my best advice. You know, whatever's in your freezers, if you can preserve it, preserve it. You know, uh, prices are just going to keep skyrocketing. That, and it's going to be ridiculous. If you can start a garden, start a garden. My garden, unfortunately, it's a total disgrace. Why? It's the weather. It's the weather. The heat has destroyed my garden. When you have record high heat every single day like we do, when it's over 100 degrees, 113, 114, 115 degrees, no matter how much you water, I'm just going to focus on cold weather crops from now on. No more of this having a summer garden. You know, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it. It's a waste. It's a waste of time, energy, money. It really is. Anyways, guys. All right. Tonight, Trish and I go live at 7 o'clock over on her channel. The link to her channel and all important links and information is always in the description box below. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Don't just be fearless, but fearless. Ciao.